Peter Doocy at the White House to kick us off this morning. Hi, Peter.
Dana, this is the first time we can remember people paying with donations to get kicked out of a Biden event. And we just got some more quotes from the stage, a lot more jokes. At one point, President Biden said, "One thing I can tell you about Air Force One, we're not changing the color. Trump wants to change the color." To which Barack Obama said, "Yeah, we're not doing that." And then later, Stephen Colbert said, "What would you say to the people who think that you're too seasoned for the job?" And President Biden said, "I don't know about seasons, but I hope there's not too old or old ideas." Well, when it comes to those ideas, there's a new Fox News poll that finds Trump is leading Biden on the two that may decide the election. Voters are giving Trump an 18-point advantage on immigration and a 15-point edge on the economy. Biden's biggest advantages are plus 18 on climate change, plus 12 on abortion. But Democrats are hoping for a boost by reminding liberals and left-leaning independents about the good old days by getting the band back together, something that Trump is not exactly doing, like this.
One thing you don't see is Donald Trump raising money with his vice president,
right,
who during the insurrection had people that he called to the Capitol calling for the death of his vice president, and he never came to the aid.
President Biden is waking up in New York City this morning. He's got another campaign fundraiser, and then it's off to Camp David for the rest of Easter weekend. Dana? All
right, Peter Doocy, and a happy Easter to you as well. Thank you.
Tough story to begin with. Jessica Tarlov, Mauro with us in studio. Morning to both of you. What Trump told the New York Post, first, here's with Brian, okay? Let's roll the soundbite with Kilmeade first from yesterday afternoon.
Me to be there, and I wanted to be there, and I came in from Florida, and what a family, the Diller family, and they lost a hero, really. I mean, just a hero. They're devastated. The family is devastated. The police force is devastated. The whole country feels this way, and it's happening more and more, and it's really a lack of respect for law and order, and we have to have law and order back in our country.
Okay, so two thoughts on this. What he told the New York Post, I think, is the relevant comment here. He said something's got to come from it. This man can't die for nothing. And if you look at the record of this criminal, he's been in jail 21 times, Paul.
Yeah.
21 times, and on the side of a street in a bus lane, and that's when this cop thought, these guys are up to no good and I have to take action now.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, the driver has a former attempted murder arrest on him. He did time for that, and he was out on bail for a loaded gun charge. I mean, that's really all you need to know. The number of prior arrests in that car is well into double figures. Here's a cop who, by the way, would take 10 years to make the amount of one of the tickets that at Radio City last night for this gala, okay? He's never gonna see $500,000 in his life. Approaches this car in the dark. He's got 3 years on. He knows there's something going on. His instincts are popping. And of course these guys should be in jail. But you know who gets a pass? We talk about city council. The Sergeants Union said we don't want the city council at this event. Jumaane Williams, the public advocate here, constantly putting in anti-police legislation, bureaucratic legislation that flies under the radar. It's not very sexy. People don't pay attention. But it takes cops off the street. It buries them in paperwork. But the real villains are up in Albany. Hochul doesn't do anything. The legislature in Albany put through all of those reforms, quote unquote, that have completely undermined our system. And just to put an exclamation point on it, it's baked into the cake. Thanks to the de Blasio administration, here's why. We're closing Rikers. We're going to go down. You think we lock up nobody now? We're going down 50% from where we are now. How many more Jonathan Dillers can we expect to come out of the woodwork to hold the line when everybody, including hardened felons, are going to be coming out of that revolving door?
Wow. Well stated. Rikers is the prison that's going to close in a couple years' time.
And Jessica, I know you agree with a lot of that on law enforcement because of our time together on The Five. I wonder what you think about this. The Fox News poll has Trump and Biden in a national poll. Biden at 45, Trump at 50. We know, of course, the Electoral College, et cetera, et cetera. But how do you feel that the race is shaping up now that we are past Super Tuesday, we are past the State of the Union address, and now we are well into the general election?
I do think it's been a good few weeks for President Biden, and we have seen that across the board. There have been something like 12 national polls where he's been gaining, is ahead of him, and you do see the swing states getting a little bit tighter. If the election were held today, I think it would probably be a toss-up and in Trump's favor, but we do have 8 months to go, and it's nice to see at least the beginnings of what the Biden campaign is going to look like, because that was one of the main complaints, and a lot of Democrats were complaining about that, just saying, you know, we don't know what this is going to be. What is your strategy? Are you going to be out there? Are you going to be mostly from the White House and we'll have surrogates? But it looks like he will be out there. He's been crisscrossing the country and raising a lot of money, which we know is very important to winning elections.
So let's go to last night again, just really across the street from us here. Paul, you were in it last night. I'll ask you about it. This was more of the chanting and the protesting with the Gaza war ongoing.
From the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
I think all things considered, last night actually came off fairly well. I think you can credit the new NYPD for that.
Yeah.
I mean, this place was on lockdown for block after block. What did you see?
Yeah, so they had good intelligence. They knew what was coming, et cetera. But, you know, here's a nuance. Because so many cops had to cover this gala at Radio City, they couldn't go to the wake. Okay, so, you know, you had an enormous detail, who, by the way, they got 2 different details that are running to try to cover the subways, because those are popping off. We all know everybody's afraid to go into the subway now. Now you're asking them to cover this, which happens every weekend now, and you have this big event. And look, of course, President Biden is allowed to hold a pep rally at Radio City as part of campaigning. Everybody gets that. But the optic that you talked about is just so stark. While that was going on at Radio City, I mean, he couldn't even make a phone call. To me, it's such an unforced error. Call the family. Take that talking point away. He doesn't even seem to be able to do that. Never mind go visit. And you can't escape the idea that he's just afraid of that base who will just revolt if he shows any feeling towards law enforcement, but also the idea that it's not a choreographed situation. It's a little bit of a fluctuating situation. Thousands of cops out there, corrections, firemen, just people from the neighborhood, people from Long Island, Bruce Blakeman. And I don't know that they think he's going to be able to handle that event.
Right.
There's a political aspect of this, too. Just quickly in the 30 seconds we have, I mean, how does this unfold over the coming months, and how much of a problem is it?
The pro-Palestinian issue, I think it's going to be sizable until the war is over. I hope that it is over soon and that we get those hostages back, whoever, you know, God willing, is still alive, and then we see what comes next for that. It's obviously something the president is concerned about. But to the point about the contrast, you know, these moments happen, and I don't think it's fair to judge an entire presidency or a man based on them. We have, you know, Joe Biden waiting for the bodies of the fallen soldiers from Jordan, calling their families afterwards to give posthumous promotions. You have Donald Trump, you know, talking about January 6ers as hostages and heroes. 140 police officers were physically attacked on January 6th. There are moments that you could point to, and I wish that yesterday would have been left alone. It was beautiful what happened at Jonathan Diller's wake. I'm glad that President Trump went, but it doesn't mean that Joe Biden doesn't care about law enforcement because he was somewhere else.
We got to run. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for being here.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.